This is the Building Walls Podcast, episode number 62, recorded December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, 2021. Cats, cracks, and the Parent Trap.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
This is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is not. Oh, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
Mr. President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive
No,
away?
you
since
can't.
It's so important?
Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it.
Okay, hang on.
A majority of Americans, and forgive me, I'm just the messenger, no longer consider you to be competent, focused, or effective in the job.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Go. I'm ready. Another episode of the Building Walls Podcast.
Yeah, let's go,
As
baby.
I said, we got a special surprise here. Hitting them from the Kong Bong.
Dude, right out of the gate. Chad, where did you even get that?
Got it from a friend on my birthday.
Oh, you hit that? For those of you just listening, Chad just ripped out this like koozie that has a little detachment thing down on the bottom. It's a bong. It's like a portable bong.
The Kong Bong.
You just slammed a Truly.
Yeah, I think I got a little left in there. No big deal. All right.
This show's gonna be great.
Got it rocking and rolling. Got to figure out how to make it so I'm not making a mess. Oh, geez. Dude, no.
Now?
The Kong Bong is secured.
Yeah, you just put it away. Got it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, hey. It's
going to be a good one tonight.
Another week. Yeah, another week here. Another episode. And we've got a packed show here ready to go. And I think we've got some good topics right out of the gate. But you know what? It's Christmas season, right?
Yeah, thanks for taking the lead there, man. Woo.
I'm just saying it's Christmas season. And so what do you think about some of the shopping going on?
I'll tell you what. You sent me a video earlier, which I thought was hilarious. So you tagged me on a video on Facebook, I think it was. And maybe we start a new segment on the show, I don't know, called Unpopular Life Lessons, things that are sure to offend someone out there. And what we're going to talk about first is the fact that the customer is not always right. If you're a customer, which you are, guess what? You're not always right. Right? I've worked a job. You've worked a job. I mean, how many times has someone just started off on you about something? The job I work at, I told a lady the other day, I said, okay, stop. I said, how much, what did I say to her? Have you ever worked on a vehicle before? She goes, no. I said, it's obvious because you have zero knowledge of what you're talking about. She looks at me and goes, wow, you're a little smarty, aren't you? I said, yeah, when you act like that. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, right? But you're not always right. And come to find out, I was right. I just wasn't trying to flaunt it. But you have zero knowledge of what you're talking about. And if that's the case, which it is, because you don't know how the process works, you don't even know how your own vehicle works, you're not always right. Show some kindness during this time of year, right? We're all out there trying to do our best, I hope.
How great is that video?
Show some kindness.
The one with the guy he's looking at like IKEA, and they're like, "Oh, you guys only got 2 lanes open." He's like, "Yeah, you applying for the job? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You see all those people? Would you think I just called dibs on you?"
So great. But I mean, think about it, right, Chris? We just had a mutual experience in different states at the same time.
I know, right? Right, because
Just gotta kill them with kindness.
Is it though the Chick-fil-A effect? Is it because that's what needs to happen? But there's not enough Chick-fil-A's out in the world. God's food is not. Well, you got to wait for it. I had to wait 52 minutes. That's a 5 and a 2. 5-2. I had to wait 52 minutes from the time I pulled in to the Chick-fil-A until the time that I got my food and left. So it's not exactly fast food, if you know what I mean.
It's not fast food when it's God's food.
Yes. But I did score right here. I did score the peppermint chip milkshake that I'm going to give a shot to right now. I'm going to try this shake. See if it's any good. Swirl it around here.
I waited over 30 minutes for mine. What I find super interesting is you went to a Chick-fil-A that is well established on a Tuesday night. I went to a Chick-fil-A that's been open for 4 days. And from one to the next, they're just as busy, no matter how long they've been around, no matter where you're at. Unless you go to like Charlotte and there's one on every corner. Those ones seem to not be quite as busy. But around us, when there's one every 20, 30 minutes, it doesn't matter how long it's been around. It's God's food.
All right. One suck.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the rules.
Wow. Oh my God. I didn't know that's how we're starting off the show. Holy smokes.
Who wants a happy ending? One suck. Everyone knows the rules.
Oh,
this
man.
Peppermint. I don't know about this, man. I'm not a big, huge fan of peppermint.
I'm not a milkshake fan, but I'm in love with this thing. It's like manna from the heavens.
It is legitimately the only milkshake you should be buying during the holiday season. That is my personal take. And
welcome to the
love
show.
this.
Attack helicopter. Fly.
Is that because it's so good?
No, it's great. I love it.
It's no Arby's boneless wings.
Oh yeah. We got to ask you. Did you go get those last weekend?
Yeah, I mean 30, 40 minutes to go to Arby's just for some boneless wings I can get from B-Dubs 10 minutes away. I don't know if it's worth it.
No, you said you were going to go do it though.
I know, I slacked. One of these
Oh,
days.
you slacked off, man. Disappointed.
You know what they say, Dayton? One of these days turns into never.
Oh, how true.
There's too many quotes we can. But all right.
I don't know.
Let's.
I'm gonna. Hey, on the
No,
shake
not a
scale
fan.
here, I'm literally gonna, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 4.
Wow,
That
hurts.
is brutal. That is a brutal rating.
I'm giving it a 9
Wow.
because I don't like milkshakes, so I don't know that I would give anything a 10. But I would buy this again. I know that because I got one Saturday too.
See, you're a little bit more generous than even I would be with it. For me, I'd only give it probably like an 8. It's not the best milkshake I've ever had because it's really thick. That's the biggest thing for me that gets me look, I am not gay, and that's a lot of sucking. That is a lot of sucking for someone who is not gay.
That's true. I had to suck hard on this thing.
It's one suck. Everyone knows the rules.
I had to suck hard, and I'm not used to that.
It's getting those muscles working. I'm sure, the females in our lives could do way better than we could at it, though.
Wow.
I think maybe the only thing that sucks harder.
Turn down the volume if your children are listening.
Chad, I was going to say the only thing that sucks harder than this milkshake is probably CNN.
That's so great. It's great because it's true. That was perfect. All right, there's not been a better segue on this show. Let's get into some good news. Talking about the news and CNN. In the month of November, this is amazing, right? CNN, who, allegedly rules the world, right, with the Democratic Party. CNN only has one show between CNN, and MSNBC, which is actually an MSNBC show, I believe. They only have one show in the top 15, rated in the top 15 of news cable shows. They have one show. Fox News owns the other 14 shows out of 15. And yet Joe Biden got the most votes ever? What?
81 million?
What?
What?
And the Tucker Carlson show was number one. Good old Tucker.
Hey, Tucker Carlson tonight. It actually just started. We're doing our show here. we do our
competing
show live.
Segments.
8 o'clock Eastern. We're going head to head on the live stream. Hey, Tech Helicopter, what's our viewer audience right now?
We got to be crushing the Tucker Carlson show. We're crushing.
I will get you numbers. Give me a couple
We're
seconds.
probably a couple hundred higher. So, I mean, seeing stats like this, it's so obvious that this leftist media way is falling to the wayside. People don't watch this crap. They don't want to watch this crap because that's what it is. It's absolute garbage on TV.
This is very reminiscent of the first half of the Ohio State-Michigan State game. When you're a fraud and you're not doing good, and you probably shouldn't be there in the first place. That's what happens. 49-0. And you know what? I didn't want to watch it either. And so that's how I know I can relate to my leftist friends, you know. And
oh my gosh.
Man, we got a huge audience.
That's for sure.
But I'm saying, like, hey, Chad, don't you understand? Like, you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm a Michigan State guy. I was, you know, I bleed green and white. But you know, when you're outmatched and you're outclassed, and you know, Ohio State is Ohio State, and when you're getting trucked 49-0 in the first half, honestly, I didn't want to watch. And so, if you're a Biden fan and you voted for Biden and you see what's going on, it's the same as being crushed. 49-0. So,
dude, when you're sucking on things that hard, sometimes you just got to burp, you know?
I know. I sucked it down. It came up.
Bro, you are on fire. That segue you had, the jokes right now, the analogy to football. That was a pretty darn good analogy.
Well,
I mean,
I do have to tell you that I had a very interesting experience this past week. I actually met with one of our fans. So we have an audience. We have people who listen to us all across the country, and a guy from Indiana reached out to me,
Northwest Indiana,
in Detroit, and wanted to go grab a beer. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's go. And so I'm sitting there. This guy's a top fan of the show. I mean, seriously, it's unbelievable how much he knew about the show. He loves the rant. And he goes, hey, I'd love to meet you anywhere except for Long John Silver's.
Let's give a huge shout out to Dave Prisbillo.
What's up, Dave? Super fan, Dave. So anyway, you know, that's what I'm saying. That was pretty awesome.
Dave's great people. Great people.
Indeed he is.
You want to know who's not? Fredo Cuomo. Chris Cuomo. I shouldn't say I can't believe they fired him. I can't believe it took them over 6 months to fire him. Right? Jeff Zucker, who runs CNN, knew about this back in May with his dealings with his brother, Andrew Cuomo. It took over 6 months. You want to know why people don't watch your show anymore? Because like you said, it's a fraud. If the first half sucks, I'm not watching the second half.
Yeah,
I know what the outcome's going to be. That's why, you know, the only exception to that is Lions football. Some reason we watch the Lions every week, but we know they suck.
Yeah.
But for real, like, what is the bigger issue here? if this is how bad they are, they had trouble, I think it was in October, getting over 1 million viewers for one show. I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah, on mainstream cable network.
Right.
I don't even know what the pool is or how many people have access to it, but my gosh, dude, it is insane the things that are going on. But I mean, don't you feel like there's an agenda? And we all say like, yeah, they have, like CNN is pushing the left narrative and Fox pushes the right narrative. But it seems like there might be something deeper there. I don't know. I mean, how can we even trust these guys anymore after what you've seen that they've done and how they handled the Cuomo situation? It's out of control. I don't know how anyone trusts them.
Yeah, I mean, I always look at how do people react to things that are similar to their views, right? So if Trump is a conservative president, why was Fox News laying into Trump pretty good for quite a bit of his presidency? I mean, Fox News did defend the points of him quite often too, but there were times where you'd be watching Fox News or you see some right-wing media and you're like, wow, they're hammering him. This is wild.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Tucker Carlson go after Lindsey Graham?
Oh, man. Yeah.
He does. He does not let Lindsey Graham off the hook for anything.
And you start to see that from CNN and MSNBC with the left, but did you ever see it with Obama? Never. Obama was God to them. He had a halo on him every time he got on the CNN screen, right? And you start to see a little bit from Joe Biden because how can you not? I mean, no one has to make fun of Biden. No one has to point out what he does. You just have to watch him and you can make that assessment for yourself.
All right, just go back and start our show over again and watch the intro. It's unbelievable. If you got things near and dear to your, then, never mind. I mean, like, come on. That's unbelievable that we have a president that is that cognitively declined. It's unbelievable.
And to kind of like bolster this point, as the Daily Wire reported, CNBC has host Jim Cramer on there, who, if you don't know who Jim Cramer on, he is a financial analyst. He is a financial analyst who has been known to go on video and say things such as how people with a lot of money who run hedge funds like he used to will manipulate the market to go up or down in a certain way. And then they'll go on a show like CNBC and talk about how bad or good a company is to manipulate the market. Like, they don't hide this stuff. So that's who Jim Cramer is. So he has nothing to do with the science community. Let's just be clear on that, right? And he's talking about how we should use military force to enforce universal vaccination. Dude, you manipulate finances in the stock market. You deal with finances. Who are you to say this? And you wonder why your ratings suck? It's like watching ESPN to listen to LeBron James talk about stupid things, right? That's not why I watch ESPN. I watch it for sports.
Right. I want to see if he hit the game-winning shot, which he probably didn't because he's not as good as Jordan.
Oh, that's so great.
But hey, I agree. You know, you've got these guys who are in prominent positions that are getting airtime, and you know, they're just running their mouth. And I appreciate the people who think that everyone should be vaccinated. You know what? I think everybody should stop eating McDonald's. That's what I think. So are we going to shut down McDonald's? We're going to have a mandate against McDonald's? And I can make the case that McDonald's is worse for you than COVID. Right?
What do you die more from? Heart disease or COVID?
Obesity is
heart disease.
Just a massive problem that we have in this country that has multiple layers of health issues, and it's stupid. So, but we can't mandate that. It's called freedom. free choice. Like, what's wrong with people? Why have we forgotten what we're founded on? I don't understand why that narrative keeps going. It's crazy.
Hey, if the government cares so much about what goes into your body with a vaccination, why don't they care about the food that the FDA allows to go into your body? Why don't they care so much about that? Where's the science behind that? Huh?
Yeah.
Because it's BS. They don't care about what goes in your body. They care about getting you vaccinated. Why? To put money in their pockets. That's all they care about. Control, money, anything that gives them power.
How is there smoking? Like, for real. Smoking causes cancer and raises healthcare costs for everyone.
Which in turn gives them power. If you think
And
about
we're
it.
like, it's
Same with
like,
obesity, right? If you're the more obesity there is, the more laziness there is, the more power they have, because then you rely on the government.
yeah. And I think that's the biggest problem. We don't even have proper news channels anymore.
I think I lost you.
Did you unplug your mic there, Chris?
Oh, it is him.
Yep, there it is.
Better. Sorry.
There it is.
That was so weird because at the same time I hit a cord on my floor and I was like, oh crap, I think I just did something.
I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm like, I'm asking you, Chad, who do you trust?
I heard you. I saw you say my name. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Chad, who do you trust?
I want the truth.
I'm not talking to you anymore. I was like, man, are you just gonna text me now? Like, what's going on here? Anyway.
Oh my gosh, this is great. This is a good time. Here's what I want to hear. I want to hear my favorite part of the show, the Weekly Rant. And as we roll into it, I want to showcase a beer very near and dear to my heart, the Ice Cream Man from Back East Brewery. It's a Citra India Pale Ale. They say the Ice Cream Man IPA is brewed with Citra hops and has loads of great citrusy, fruity, hoppy flavors and aromas. It actually reminded us of an orange creamsicle, hence the name. With that said, let me introduce the man of the next 5 minutes, Mr. Chris
I
Dayton.
don't know about that.
You don't have
Not
to go
that
just
long.
5 minutes. If you can last that long, I don't know.
I probably can't. And it's not my
on.
fault. It's not my fault.
Oh,
Here's
man.
the thing. So last week's show, we briefly touched upon this, and there was a very senseless tragedy that happened here in my backyard in Oxford, Michigan, where a student decided to take a gun to high school and start shooting. There were unfortunately four children who were murdered in cold blood, and the parents of this child decided they were gonna hightail it. They were gonna go run. Then they got tracked down. They decided better that authorities found them, but it kind of looks like they were trying to duck out and get to Canada, quite frankly, and avoid responsibility for raising their son in a manner in which ultimately led to this tragedy. And so my question is, are these parents, are they out of their minds? You start looking at the evidence and start hearing some of the things. And I have a couple sources that are close to me that have inside tracks on some of these things. And so I will tell you, we know that this student was having some trouble in school. They had multiple meetings with the student, with the parents, to discuss the behavior of the child and to go over what is happening. That he's writing violent drawings. He had drawings that were very violent. And you know what the dad does? The dad goes and buys a gun for the kid as a gift on Black Friday. Hey, son, I know you fucked up. let's go get you a gun. That sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? Hey, Pops. Yep, yeah, Pops. Can I get a gun? I kind of like to have a gun. Sure, son. Let's get a gun. Let's go shooting. The negligence here is simply astounding. Furthermore, the school totally knew about this. They totally knew he had problems. And what do? They said, well, you have 48 hours to put this young man in and get him help at a mental hospital because he clearly has some issues. But in the meantime, son, I think it's time for you to go to school. All right. Well, son, head off down the hallway. And then dad realizes, oh, geez, maybe I should go check to see if my gun's still at home. The gun that I didn't lock up. The gun that I told, son, here's a gun for you. Oh, he has it. He has his gift. And now 4 kids are dead. 6 or 7 more are wounded. And hundreds upon hundreds are emotionally devastated from the terror that is. That's the psychological part of this. You never think it's going to happen in your backyard. Why would you? But there's overwhelming evidence that this tragedy could have been prevented. And there's no amount of justice that's ever going to resolve this. There's no amount of money. That school district's basically going to open up their checkbook though, and they're going to be stroking checks for a long time. How do you recover from that? Exactly. And you know what? Like Kamala Harris says, do not come. Do not come. And Trump's like, I'm going to come. That's the attorneys coming for everybody involved here. And some people are going to pay, and they're going to pay big. I'm telling you, it didn't have to happen. It did not have to happen. And quite frankly, it's terrible that it did. And the worst part about it, and I'm going to wrap with this, the worst part about it is people think it's the gun. It wasn't the gun. It's the fact that those parents are ridiculous. They failed their kid. They made it okay. They empowered this kid to do stupid things. And that's our problem. We have a leadership problem that focuses on mental health, and people are messed up, man. And where along the way, the question doesn't need to be, how can we stop this from ever happening again? Can we take away the guns from everybody? That is not the problem. And if you ask that question, then you are the problem, and you're not going to be part of this conversation anymore. Because the real question is, why is it okay for these kids to feel this way, to feel hurt, to feel that they can so callously take a life? And, you know, that's the problem, though. Because you look at Alec Baldwin, and he goes, I didn't pull the trigger. No, the gun shot itself, you tard. Oh, my God. That's the world we're living in, the total clown world. And these people say these things enough that they really believe it. Rant over.
That was good. That was excellent.
Thank you,
When
sir.
you tie that together, that's definitely one of the better rants that we've had. You know, if we're talking like best top 15 shows, like CNN, Fox, top 15 rants, you're definitely at least one out of the top 15. Maybe 2.
We have a higher viral rate than CNN and Chris Cuomo. That's for sure.
But man, it's like you hear this stuff, right? It's well, we should outlaw guns. No, it had nothing to do with the gun. How do those parents? Why would you buy a gun for your kid? And then the mom's texting the kid after she hears about what's happening and says like, "Oh my gosh, no! I hope it wasn't you." So
Don't
you
do it.
Yeah, don't do it. So you
Don't
knew?
do it.
You knew he might do it. You knew your kid might do that, and you bought him a gun the day before anyway.
He gave him access to a gun.
What?
And I don't want to get into the fact that in the state of Michigan, when you buy a gun, you have to actually declare who it's for and fill out the form and say, I'm buying this for me. And that's what the dad did. He filled it out. He said, this is my gun. But then there's very strong evidence that he bought it for his kid because there's social media posts of him going, hey, look at my early Christmas gift from my parents.
Yeah, we have a severe. It all comes down to, like you said, leadership, lack of responsibility, right? And that's what comes down to people wanting abortions. They don't want to take responsibility for their own choices in life. That's
Right.
just, these are just part of these things that all is the overwhelming thing of, stop trying to slap a Band-Aid on something that needs stitches, right?
Right.
Stop trying to take away the gun in one case when that's just a Band-Aid. We have serious wounds in this country, and it all has to do with the family unit, raising the family, raising people who know, right? I was talking about this with a guy the other day. I was on the USCCA's website, United States Concealed Carry Association, and I was looking at if you get a CCW or your concealed carry permit in different states, how many states are those reciprocal to? And I found it curious that states like Connecticut, which are very left leaning, states like New York have, I think they're reciprocal with like 17 to 24 states, which isn't a lot. And then you go to a state like a North Carolina or a Florida or Texas, who's reciprocal with over 30 states. So you're telling me in the states where they have the loosest gun laws, so to speak, the most non-strict gun laws, where there's a lot of responsible gun owners, people who know how to handle a firearm, those are the states that are most reciprocal with other states, where you can reciprocal, meaning if you get your CCW in Texas, that is now good for 34 other states or 30 other states, how many there ever are. But I figured that if you got one in Connecticut, New York, California, because they're so strict, I figured you'd be able to carry that in over 40 states, right? But that's not the case.
Yeah.
Isn't that
inverse.
weird?
Very weird.
It's weird that when you teach people how to handle a firearm, they're more responsible with it. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gosh. It's like, I've gone through the class. I've got my CPL, and there's a lot you have to go through. It's not just like, hey, show up, we're gonna teach you how to hold the gun. There's a lot that goes into the class.
They go about how guns just don't fire themselves. Things like that, right?
Right. Guns don't just fire themselves. You got to actually pull the trigger.
I did see that. How stupid is that with Alec Baldwin?
I mean, that's manipulation of the justice system. Quite frankly, he's going on and doing an interview and trying to sway public opinion on this. That's the sole purpose of doing that. And quite frankly, it goes back to what we were just talking about. Like, how can we trust the media when you got George Stephanopoulos sitting there doing that interview, and then they got the like eerie music in the background when they did the editing? You're like, is this for real right now? Are you for real? Are you doing a drama show? What is happening?
I didn't see that. I got to go find that. What? Let's get into some more or some other crazy stuff. Let's get into this wholesome story. There's a few wholesome
This is
stories.
going to be my favorite part. This is going to be my favorite part of this whole show.
I don't know where we come up with these wholesome stories.
You found this one. This is all you, buddy.
I found it. I didn't call it the wholesome story.
Okay, I called it the wholesome story, but I admit that I edited the sheet. I moved it around, and I was like, "Hey,
there's some good wholesomeness from this, right? What a sweet cat. This cat's living a great life, right? Fox Business reported, lady, I don't know, was she kicked off the plane? She was breastfeeding her cat on a Delta Airlines flight and was upset when they told her to stop.
We're Delta Airlines, and we be loving us some flying.
God bless that cat.
Even the best part, the flight attendant reported the careless cat was screaming for its life.
By the way, the cat looks like Mr. Bigglesworth from Austin Powers. Have you seen the picture of the cat?
That cat's like, give me that titty. I want some milk.
Look at that cat. Look at that thing. That thing, oh my God. That thing is like...
Not only is it sucking from your boob, but it's a Sphinx cat, and it looks like that. It looks like an ancient artifact is sucking from your boob. I think King Tut had one of those.
By the way, I saw a great meme today. You know, you've seen the one with the cat with the smugness and the two ladies who are yelling at
Yeah.
the cat, and they're always like, "It says this," and then there was like a It's like this meme has been around forever, and it had a hieroglyphic or a hieroglyphic, um, you know, meme, and it had a picture of the two like Egyptian women pointing, and the cat sitting at the end of the table. It was so funny. I was dying. I was like, "Oh, look at that! That's been around forever."
That's such a great meme.
And
But
cats, I mean, cats have gotten some action, man. Like,
yeah, that cat doesn't know any better. What a great life that cat's living.
but can you imagine sitting on that plane? You're like, you're getting in, you're ready to go on your flight. You got your mask on, and you just hear this wailing.
The
this
movie's
cat
starting.
going,
Headphones are going on.
headphones, they're coming out, with it.
Watching your Delta Airlines flight movie.
Thank you for flying Delta. We take our safety seriously. And you're like, what is that noise? Oh my god! And this lady's got her tit out, and like the cat's like, no, you gotta suck that milk. Get that milk, boy. Yeah, I would be like, is that the tires? Like, what's going on? Did something break on the plane? No, son. That's just a passenger over there feeding her cat. That's all. Don't worry about it, boy. Thanks, Pops. Hey, can I get a gun? Sure, son.
Now, how does that work? Like, is that kind of similar to newborn babies? Like, if she's on the flight drinking alcohol and then her cat's feeding from her, does the cat get drunk too? How does that work? I just trying to
know.
understand some of the science behind it, right?
Can I get a Tito's and titty?
Oh my god.
All right. Speaking of pussies, let's talk about those NFL Lions, those Detroit Lions.
The Lions.
The Pussycats got their first win this year.
It's amazing.
Chad, did you see it?
Dude, it was
Did you see it
amazing.
live?
We'll do it live. I saw it all live, every bit of it. So here's the best part. I am not a football guru, but it's always exciting when moments like this happen. I'm looking at my wife. Lions are on the 12. I go, listen, Sydney, this is what they should do. They should run trips to one side of the field and run all slants, or run two slants and have one guy run a dig route. And then the quarterback's just got a key on the defensive back and see if he sits back or goes forward. And then they did it. I was like, oh my God. The Lions finally called a good play.
Unbelievable. Now, admit it to me that when they went for it on 4th and 1 with 4 minutes left, or a little over 3 minutes left, and they didn't get it, and they fumbled the ball, and it just was a cluster, and they gave the ball to the Vikings on like whatever that was, like the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, Lions. Just so typical.
Right.
Of course, then Vikings promptly score.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins drops
Everything
one
you thought
in there.
it'd be.
But then the interesting part is the statistics of it is that was actually the right call. Because had they punted, Chad, did you think about it? So if they would have punted with a lead, they were only up by 2. And then what are the odds that because of the extended field that the Vikings chew up more clock, leaving very little time left for the Lions, and then they lose once again by 1 point?
Talk about a silver lining. I can
mean,
appreciate you getting your boy Dan Campbell's back. Because in retrospect, that was the right call.
Okay.
He didn't know it in the moment, but that was amazing.
My only problem is after the touchdown, you see Jared Goff go ripping over to him, and Dan Campbell tosses some dude out of the way so that he can chest bump with Jared Goff, or hug like they just won the Super Bowl. I'm like, dude, are you jumping up and down? And did Goff be like, hey, I'm going to Disneyland? Dude, get out of here.
I totally get it. I've been there. where I've been on teams who struggled, then you win a game, and your coach is always like, hey, act like you've been there. I get it. But I feel like the Lions, they should act like this every time they win a football game. They should celebrate and want that feeling. For God's sake, at some point, know what it likes to have that feeling on a every year basis, because it's tough watching the Lions week in and week out.
Why are they such perennial losers? Like, why?
Maybe because they don't celebrate like they win the Super Bowl enough.
They're 1-10-1.
They're not going to set records this year. That's a good thing.
Ones and zeros. Lots of ones and zeros. 1-10-1.
Sometimes it just takes a little longer, right? Just got to continue to plant seeds, wait for the harvest season. Don't know when it's coming.
Dude, are you really going to start preaching right now?
But at some point, it's got to come if you keep planting seeds.
I mean, we're back to like God's plan and everything, and I get it. And God's food, and it takes a long time. But if God's plan is for the Lions to ever be winners, I mean,
they need to put a ChickfilA in the stadium first.
They do need a ChickfilA in the stadium. How great would that be? Ford Field, ChickfilA, make it happen.
Those guys need to be fed with ChickfilA peppermint chip shakes before the game. Give them the food of the heavens.
But you know what? They play on Sunday, and it's not open
on
Sunday.
You're right. You're right.
That would be exactly what the Lions would do. Hey, we just partnered with ChickfilA to have us in the stadium. By the way, it's not open on Sundays. So they'll only be available when we play on Monday Night Football, which is never, because we suck.
That's why the Lions will never be good, because they always play on Sunday. They'll never get a ChickfilA. Game over. That's it.
Exactly.
That is it. But let's get back. Let's get back into some good stuff that we've been talking about with the news, the media, Jesse Smullet trial.
Oh, dude, have you seen what's going on here?
Man, this guy's talking about, not only is he selling out everyone at CNN and MSNBC, this dude is talking about going out and having cocaine-filled gay bathhouse parties.
Right?
Like, I'm still trying to figure out where this fits in the trial. Like, why are we even talking about this stuff? Is that what he did before they had these guys jump him on purpose?
Don Lemon is like, yeah, let's hit that. Oh, wait a minute. I need to text him anyway and tell him the police don't believe him. But he's talking about gay bathhouses.
Dude, this stuff's wild. What the heck is going on?
Dude, so do you think Jesse Smullet would get the
oh, Jesus.
I just can't. I
Save
can't
us,
do this
Jesus. Save us. Where is this going?
Is Jesse Smullet with his gay bathhouses, is he getting complimentary peppermint chip milkshakes so he can suck?
DoorDash.
Dude, have you seen the guys, the African brothers?
Yeah.
He hired? They're like ripped.
Dude, they're freaking Jack Diesel. And
they're so ripped.
It's funny you say that, because his defense, from what I understand, is he's still saying that he didn't go through all this stuff. He's saying that he believed it was two white guys. At what point do you miss two Jack Dieseled black dudes coming at you? Like, it's not the fact that they were black. It's the fact that they're huge.
Like,
you don't pay attention to that?
Specimens of the human race. Like, these guys are built. And you're like, oh, by the way, they're pale. They're not white. They're pale. Okay, they're pale? That's what you say? That's pale right there. This is pale. Like, oh my God. That's so crazy. No, dude, they're black. They're like, yeah, African. And so something's not adding up here, man. In fact, how are they planning on getting around the fact that there's literal video that they dropped on this of them practice fighting this
Yeah.
fake encounter?
Straight up video, just like the Rittenhouse case, right? There's video that guy was coming at him with a gun. There's video that they practiced fighting.
If you're on that jury, like, how long does this take to deliberate? Are you like
It can't
walking
take
back
long.
into the jurors' room and be like, okay, guys, this is so stupid. How are we even here right now? This guy's guilty as all day long, and we just need to do this. But how long do we have to sit back here and pretend like we're actually going over this case?
All right, so you heard it here first. I have a feeling that all this is going on, and somehow, some way, when he gets found guilty, there's going to be something come out that says he was only guilty because he's black. And they're going to wrap this around to the Kyle Rittenhouse story, say how that was unfair. The Jesse Smollett trial was unfair. He was tried unfairly, and it's all because he's black. Which they were already saying that when he got accused of this. Yet it's true.
I hope that, like, if they do that, if they take that angle, I hope somebody's pretty quick to point out that, that the other trial that was in Georgia, I think it was Georgia or Alabama.
Ahmaud
Arbery, where they, those white guys shot and killed that black guy for no apparent reason. And they're smoked. They're done. They're guilty as all day long, as they should be. The whole point is as they should be. But I hope somebody's quick to be like, yeah, the justice system is pretty streamlined. Is it perfect? No. But it's pretty close. You're being judged by your peers. And most people can see this crap a mile away.
And Chris, we live in the greatest country ever. The reason I say that is, have you ever seen the Netflix documentary about Amanda Knox, the American woman who's in Italy and gets charged with murdering her roommate?
I have not.
So I saw something that piqued my interest. It's been on Netflix for quite a while. And me and Sydney started watching it the other night. And what's so great about the U.S. is that you are innocent until proven guilty. In all these other countries, that's not always the case. There was only circumstantial evidence in this case, from what I understand, tying Amanda Knox to the murder of her roommate. And because of that circumstantial evidence that was like, well, it is her roommate. Even though she has an alibi, because we noticed them acting a little funny because they didn't act the way that we thought they should act after her roommate, who she knew for less than 2 weeks, just died. Which, I don't even know this person. I've known them for 2 weeks. Yeah, they're my roommate. I'm a little freaked out, but because I'm not acting the way that you think I should act, they put her in jail. They charged her. Had zero, circumstantial evidence only. Imagine if that happened in the U.S.
Oh my God.
Well, you can't, because it wouldn't happen. Right? I mean, you are innocent until proven guilty in the U.S. Like, there has to be cold hard evidence, unless it's the Rittenhouse trial, that you did what you did for them to charge you and to bring you in. They have to have good evidence. It can't just be circumstantial.
Well, hopefully they get this right. It certainly appears, based on all the things that we've seen, that Jesse Smollett is just a desperate actor trying to get attention. And unfortunately, we don't need that in our country right now. That's stoking division. It's trying to capitalize on all the chaos and the dividing of the lines. We don't need that anymore. We really need to come together and be reminded more of what we're like and how we're alike than we are different. And I don't think Jesse Smollett was helping with that.
I always think, because
cocaine-filled gay bathhouses.
Dude, I literally just wanted to say that on the podcast. Cocaine-filled gay bathhouses. I'm like, well, what is that? Like, what the hell is going on there?
I mean, which crack are you smoking right now?
Dude, they'd be wilding out there.
I can't even. Which crack are you smoking?
Does it smell like your Chick-fil-A
Oh
from earlier
God,
tonight?
where's this going? Oh my God.
Tech helicopter just drops in on that one. That's too
What
good.
crack are
Too
you
good.
smoking? All right. Let's segment into let's jump into this. Chris's Corner. I'm really excited for this. I don't know what we're gonna do with it. We were chatting a little bit earlier, but I really like this because we try to hit on different points, but it's really good to, I think, I don't want to say single you out. Like, we're not singling you out, right? But it gives us an opportunity to address certain things that we think need to be addressed, and almost gives us or gives you here, right, an open floor to, I'm just going to hammer you with points on the left. And let's see what you think about it. This is old Chris's Corner.
And it's brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. An MLS number, whatever number they are.
Yeah.
America's low rate. Call today. Call Becky.
If you want to
call our
sponsor,
friend Becky Alley. Yeah, call Becky Alley at Capital Mortgage Funding. She'll take care of you.
if you want to sponsor the next 20 minutes of this show, please call Christopher Dayton to get a spot on Chris's Corner.
Yeah, we're now accepting sponsorships for this. ChickfilA.
This is going to be good. You've been hammering it all night so far. This is going to be good. Talking about cracks, cocaine-filled gay bathhouses, God's food. All right, so this is my first point to you, right?
Okay. Hit me.
This is what people on the left say, right? We get hit with all sorts of vaccines, right? When we're kids, we get polio, chicken pox. You can get the flu vaccine. We have all these other vaccines. You never complain about those, Chris. You never question those. So what's so different with the COVID vaccine?
I mean, yeah, you're right. I don't, because I'm also not going to get my booster shot for mumps, measles, and rubella, because the vaccine works and has a lot of data behind it. That's why. Tell me, when did we start separating? Honest God, Chad, when did we start separating people on these vaccine issues when, this is really like the flu shot. The flu comes around every year. There's a different variant. There's different things. You got to go get your flu shot. If you're in a state of like, I feel like I'm compromised or I need a little bit extra, immune support, well, then go get it. But we don't start separating people from who has the flu shot and who doesn't have the flu shot. So why are we doing that with COVID? It's insane.
You know what, Chris? I understand you. I get it. So let me hit you with this. But Chris, the thing about the vaccines, we need to start mandating this stuff, right? Because mandates are here to keep everyone safe. Don't you understand that? You're such a terrible person. You want other people to die because they're not getting a vaccine? We should mandate this for everyone. It keeps us all safe. And if the government says do it, they have all these scientists back there. So let's just do it so we can get the pandemic over with. You don't want to continue to have to wear masks, do you? All year round? Chris, it's to keep everyone safe.
Yep. And then we could go through a long list of governments who have told their populace, things that they had to do to keep them safe, but only led to tyranny and lack of freedom, lack of choice, and it doesn't stop. Once that can is open, once those mandates start coming, Chad, what I would say to you is that's fine. You want to mandate if you're opposing as the left, in this case. If you want to tell me, or someone on the left wants to tell me that I have to do it to keep everyone safe, well, then I'm going to demand that you get out of your car and never drive again, because it's going to, keep everybody safe. Because you've been in a car accident before, you've gotten a speeding ticket, you're a reckless menace to society, and we need to mandate that you're not allowed to ever drive, to ever hurt anybody, or to ever kill anybody, or ever do anything that's going to ever hurt. And so let's just cut the bullshit right now and just realize that mandates are a reduction of freedom, and we don't do reductions of freedom. The last time we cared about government that gave us mandates was 1776, baby. And we told the English that F off and keep your tea, and we'll keep our taxes and we'll make our own country. How's that? You like that? You want some more of that? Okay.
You like that?
You like that? Little Kirk Cousins? I do like that. Touchdown Lions.
You know what, Chris? You're such a misogynist that you would say something like that. We're just trying to keep everyone safe. That's what the left says, right?
Yeah.
Like, what?
You know
I'm a
what?
misogynist. What? Where'd that come from?
You're right. I am, because women drivers are terrible.
Heard it here first. Well,
Unless
Chris,
you're Danica Patrick. I can find the exception.
there you go. So let's get on to the next one, Chris. What about, we need stricter gun laws, because stricter gun laws that prevent school shootings, prevent shootings everywhere, right? Steve Scalise wouldn't have been shot if we had stricter gun laws.
Yeah, maybe not. We don't know. But what we do know is that people still have to pull the trigger. So if you want to talk about the Band-Aid instead of the cure for the problem, we can keep doing that. You can have a conversation with a poll over in the corner. The rest of us adults are going to go actually solve this problem, which is massive lacks of leadership in our society at every level, from top down. 81 million people voted for Biden. Please. It's such a farce. It's not even funny. The guy's not even coherent. His family is a joke. Got Hunter Biden.
We don't know what kind of crack they're smoking.
Hunter Biden was like in a cocaine-filled gay bathhouse, probably. And it's on his laptop, the laptop from hell. But you look at this and you want to talk about these problems, and that's the main issue I have, is these people never want to solve the real problem. They only want to cover it up. And if you think like, oh, I'm going to put up a sign and say, hey, no guns allowed here. By the way, there were no guns allowed in the school. How'd that turn out? Ooh. So should we just keep listening to your insane rhetoric about having no guns and no anything right up until the point that somebody has a gun and now your family's in dire straits because you're being told what to do? By the way, that's how mandates get shoved down everybody's throat, is when guns get pointed in people's faces. Why don't we address the real issue? Why don't we just talk about the main problem, which is how people think? And somewhere along the way, we've failed as a society. Our society is broken. It is completely broken from the top down. And, it starts with the family unit. We've figured out in the history of the world that when the family unit is strong, people have a higher chance of success. It's not impossible to succeed if you have a single mom or a single father, or tragedy has befallen your family or people have gotten divorced. It's not impossible, but we need to do a better job in our community, paying attention, being more clear about, competition, how to be winners, how to be good sportsmen when you don't succeed, that you can keep trying, you can continue to excel. And there is a place for everybody. Within our society, there is a place for everybody. But that people have to choose to want to win. And somewhere along the way, we've really failed. And I think it could be all the way back to public education. Because now this is how people think, how people raise their kids, how we've declined that entire process. And so while you guys want to talk about having stricter gun laws, I want to talk about stricter mental health issues.
That was a good one. So
Sorry,
moving on.
I'm pretty passionate about that.
That's
one.
good. All right. So here's my last question for you, Chris, in Chris's corner. This is what the left says, right? Dr. Fauci is just following the science. When we first found out about this, we didn't know much. So based on his experience, he wanted everyone to wear masks, right? Because it just seems like the logical thing. And then once we found out that masks didn't work, he told us not to wear masks. But then he told us to wear masks. And then he told us to get a vaccine. But he said he would never mandate a vaccine. Now we're mandating the vaccine. But here's the thing, Chris. Like any intelligent person, Dr. Fauci is just following the science. What's so wrong with that? Why are you such a terrible person for bashing him, for following the science?
I'll tell you why. Because Dr. Fauci is not an elected official and does not get to set policy. And quite frankly, science is subjective. And there's a lot of different interpretations. And quite frankly, I understand that Dr. Fauci has had differing opinions, which I'm okay with. But what I'm not okay with is that when you're supposed to be the lead and you're supposed to be the person who's conveying solid information to the general public so that we can get out of this mess, you keep giving conflicting messages. And it's the rules for thee, but not for me. When that is the prevalent stance for our elitist people who think that they're leading us, well, it creates a lot of confusion. And confusion and negative are the two things that will stop any progression dead in its tracks. So follow the science. Well, I would just like to see a better example of what the science is. And by the way, when you totally ignore large parts of science, and in this case, I've very rarely heard Dr. Fauci even comment on the role of natural immunity as it pertains to getting everyone vaccinated, protected, along with natural immunity to sustain herd immunity, where we can actually feel safe and confident that we're getting back to life as we knew it back in 2019. So, with all due respect to Dr. Fauci, I think he needs to retire, resign, step down, and we need a new, fresh voice that's going to be in the leadership position, somebody who is capable of bridging the gap between the people who are scared, the people who don't want to get vaccinated, and the people who are hoping that they can just go back to living their lives. We need a new, fresh voice, and Dr. Fauci is not it.
Thank you for this week's Chris's Corner. That's some good stuff. You are on fire tonight, my man.
New segment. Not bad.
Fire.
I like that. It's good. Those
I
are
like
some
that
tough
too.
questions. Good questions.
Yeah, we didn't script any of this. I mean, it's on a sheet, but we weren't like, hey, let's plan.
Yeah, we didn't plan that one out.
Question.
I briefly reviewed it, but I did not have anything. I just rolled. And you know what's interesting? I would encourage anybody listening to this, if you've got a question or you want to pose a question in Chris's Corner for an upcoming episode, feel free to send it to us. We'll check it out. Subscribe and share our page, and we'll give you a shout out. It'll be great. And maybe if it's a really compelling one, maybe we'll even have a little spot where we get you on the show.
Ooh.
I'm down for that.
A little stardom. I like it. So you rolled through some pretty good stuff there. And I want to share some. I was listening to the Dan Bongino show earlier. Dan Bongino is a conservative.
I loved him. I love him.
He's so great. Yeah, I get most of the nicknames I say, like Peppermint Patty. And I'm trying to think of one he said the other day. It's not coming to me, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's spot on. It was about Fauci. Oh, he calls Fauci the garden gnome. I'm like, that's amazing. He just looks like a garden gnome, right?
That is a good one.
Sits there with his smug face, kind of wrinkly, the white hair. Just looks like a garden gnome.
I want to see a celebrity death match between him and Senator Rand Paul. Fauci versus Paul. 3 rounds.
That'd be great.
Let's
go. So Dan Bongino, when the vaccine first came out, he said he was talking with his doctor who recommended, because of his health, that he's at high risk and should get the vaccine to help, if he does get COVID, lessen the symptoms. So he gets the vaccine. Dan Bongino gets COVID a few weeks ago or a few months ago. And he had a very serious bout with COVID. So it's funny, right? Because this is his personal experience. He's like, dude, the vaccine, I mean, maybe it helped, but it didn't really do anything for me. And then people on the left are like, yeah, but did you die? And he's like, no, I didn't die. But that's not the point. It shouldn't just keep you from dying. A vaccine is supposed to make it so that when you get hit with that illness, it's severely dampened when it hits your body. And there's all these stories, right? Like Joe Rogan taking ivermectin, and then Dana White takes ivermectin, and is like, dude, I was symptom free within 24 hours. Why aren't we talking about these things? Why don't they mandate that if you get COVID, You have to go to the ER room and get prescribed ivermectin or the monoclonal antibodies or things like that. Why isn't that mandated from the scientific
That should be the
community?
mandate. Correct.
You want to save a life? Actually give them a treatment that works when they
Amen.
do get the sickness. Because
Mhm.
it's obvious that your preventative maintenance doesn't do anything. Because didn't Joe Biden himself say, if you get the vaccine, you won't get COVID. You can't spread COVID. That's your president.
Yeah. If you get if people if everyone gets vaccinated, then they can't get COVID and they won't spread COVID. And we know that is just not true. You know what? Actually, my take on it, I really think the Omicron variant, which has been proven to be incredibly mild, the latest variant is very, very mild. Nobody's died from it. In fact, Alec Baldwin's killed more people than the Omicron. That's a good one. But
If you didn't say it, I was about to say, I'm so glad you said that.
I think that's honestly nature's way of everybody's going to get COVID and then they're going to have herd immunity. It's going to be done here because they say it's incredibly contagious, but it's all very, very mild. You get like some sniffles. But I think everybody, if you haven't been vaccinated and you want to get vaccinated, go get vaccinated. If you've had COVID, then you should be all set. And, it just is what it is.
Right. If you've had COVID, you got natural immunity. You probably still got some antibodies floating around. And our bodies are very good at remembering, right? Physically remembering things. That's how golfers are able to do so well, or basketball players, the muscle memory. Your body reacts to things that you put it through, physical stresses especially. So even if you don't have the antibodies like you should, as soon as you get hit, your body's going to know what to do. It reacts to things like that. That's what, honestly, that's one of my questions for people who say they don't believe in God. Not to totally go off on a tangent here, but I'm like, you don't believe in God, so you're telling me that all this wild stuff that happens, like the fact that you can have a kid and how that process works, like throughout a woman's body, right? Or the fact that you get hit with a virus and then your body starts to create antibodies to go after it. It just, that process alone is so incredible. And you want to tell me that you think it happened just because? That takes a lot of faith. That takes a lot of faith for you to say that it happened just because. What else takes a lot of faith is to believe that Russia won't attack and invade the Ukraine.
Oh, dude. I got a theory, though. Because have you seen what's happening?
I mean, if you mean that, Russia will need approximately 175,000 troops to invade Ukraine, and they have half of that on the border right now.
Yeah, they're lining up all their forces on the border.
But they're not going to invade. That's what they said. That takes a lot of faith.
I don't know if it does. I have a theory.
Ooh.
I do have a theory. So with Afghanistan, and the whole world watched how we have the cluster of Afghanistan, right? With the bailout, the Taliban takes over stuff. They get and the Taliban was like, you guys got to leave, and you got to leave all your stuff. We want all this stuff, and we'll let you leave, essentially. And good old riding with Biden, we pulled out, and it was a mess, and the whole world saw it. And when I say the whole world saw it, I mean Russia and China. Russia and China saw it.
China.
So if you're Russia and you can leverage Biden because he knows, okay, if I'm Putin, I'm like, I know that he doesn't want us to invade Ukraine. Ukraine's Biden's little pet, right?
That's true.
I don't want to get in a fight with with the United States. Why would Russia want to get in a tangle with the United States? They're not dumb. He's not an idiot. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to push my troops right to the edge of the border here. And you know what's going to happen? The U.S. is going to freak out. They're going to be like, hey, what are you doing?
We will give you $4 billion to remove yourself from the border.
And if you're Putin, you go, what do you care? Why would we stop doing this? What are you going to give us? That's the magic. What are you going to give Russia to not do this? And Biden is going to give them whatever they want. You're going to get something for free for just moving their troops there. They're going to get something because that's how it's going to work, because they know Biden is weak. And they know Biden, they can just call his bluff every time.
That's true politics.
And you know
That's
what?
True politics.
Gosh, aren't we seeing the same thing? Russia's doing it with Ukraine. Where is China doing it? What's that called? Taiwan? Oh yeah, Taiwan. Huh? Duh. What are we going to give China not to invade Taiwan? And we go, oh, well, we don't like it. Oh, God. We don't like this at all. By golly. I don't, well, if it's near and dear to your, well, never mind.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. You know the rest.
Can we trade you LeBron?
Yeah, you make a very good point there. That's politics at its finest. And these guys like Putin and Xi Jinping, they've been doing it a lot better for a lot longer than Biden has. Because even though Biden's just been sitting around the Senate for 40 years, well, he's been making his ties, right? He's been making his ties with Burisma and Ukraine, making his ties with China. And it's amazing.
China.
It's amazing that is the two focal points of his presidency now that's occurring. And this was all stuff before he became president. They were talking about his ties with China, and his ties with the Ukraine. And now there's these huge geopolitical things happening where those are the focal points.
Right?
Right. They're not even talking about North Korea anymore. Well, because no one was talking about North Korea before Biden got elected. He didn't have ties to North Korea, but he had ties to China. Right?
No, it's not racist at all. It's because it comes from China.
And I'm going to add something into this story about Ukraine. Did you guys see what the official Ukraine Twitter account tweeted out?
Whoa.
No.
They tweeted out a meme in relation to this Russia invasion. Not even kidding you. It's on their official Twitter account. It was posted. A meme. I'm not even kidding you. It was posted this morning at 7:09 a.m. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Show it. Types of headaches.
Oh my gosh. That is, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's the State Department of Ukraine, right? I mean,
wow.
you would think. That's crazy. I mean, the Ukraine doesn't want this. Taiwan doesn't want this. But like you said, they know that the U.S. is just going to, it's just like when Obama was in office. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to talk about Obama giving all these guns that magically disappeared in the Middle East, right? Or $4 billion that magically disappeared. No one wants to talk about that stuff. I thought we didn't negotiate with terrorists.
No, that's George Bush.
Yeah. How did guns and $4 billion disappear? Every time I hear stuff like this, it blows my mind. How are we in such debt if we're giving away billions of dollars to other countries? That's yours and my taxpayer dollars. That's the only place they come from.
Yeah.
Think about the dollars that you go to work and you earn. Some guy is in the Middle East twirling his AK-47 around in a circle, firing bullets in the air because of those dollars.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, he's also doing that with his, flock of sheep around him while he gets back to his hut. You know, come on.
Right, true. But you got to take care of your own house first, because if your own house is a mess, right? What did Jesus say? Look at the speck in your eye, right? Before talking about the speck in your neighbor's eye.
Right. It's a whole plank.
I wish LeBron James knew that.
Dude, the thing with LeBron is he does so much good stuff, and then he totally undoes all of it and just ruins it by doing other stupid things. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so he is pretty known to give a lot back to the community, which I hope he does. He makes like $50 million a year playing for the Lakers, as well as endorsements. So you're right. I mean, he does a lot of good for the world. And he acts like because he does so much good that all of a sudden he's, on God's right-hand man, that he can do whatever, say whatever he wants, because now he's holier than thou.
Yeah, he's immune to making stupid comments, which is not true because he makes plenty of them.
Yeah, you were talking about earlier about the Rittenhouse interview. I hadn't seen that, but what was that Rittenhouse interview?
Yeah, so he goes on. I mean, Rittenhouse, the guy gets acquitted on all those charges, and now he's basically a celebrity. Getting to hang out with President Trump, going around doing the circuit. And
that would be awesome, by the way.
I mean, it'd be totally awesome. Go meet President Trump and be like, yeah, hey, thanks for having my back,
Yeah.
But so, when the trial was going on, and I know we talked about this because it was just unbelievable. I think it was one of my rants, actually, when I was talking about the fact that LeBron's coming out and he's hammering Kyle Rittenhouse, saying he wasn't crying on the stand, though those were fake tears. And just he's calling out a little 18-year-old kid who had a very traumatic moment in his personal life and actually for the whole country, the whole area. I mean, just seeing what happened there. And then he goes on trial and he's, testifying on his behalf, takes the stand. He has to recount everything that happened that night. I think it's a little emotional. I'm a 45-year-old man. It would be very traumatic for me. I don't know how I could handle that emotion. And he broke down. He had a true breakdown and, recounting everything, knowing that he took someone else's life. He actually has a conscience. But LeBron comes out and is like, you're fake. Those are crocodile tears. You murderer. You white supremacist. Like LeBron, you make $50 million a year. What did I say? That I think I said at the time he's worth $850 million, according to Forbes.
That's crazy.
And you're calling out a little kid. And so Rittenhouse does this interview, and they ask him, "Hey, what'd you think about that? What did you, obviously you saw it." He goes, "Yeah, I saw it." He goes, "I was a Lakers fan too before he said that. I was really pissed off when he said that because I liked LeBron. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, LeBron." I'm like, yeah, my man Kyle just dropping that on LeBron because you know what? He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I think if that wasn't the ultimate chitty Rittenhouse, I don't know what is.
That's so great. Is there any?
I don't know. I don't know where you got that, but I'm totally giving my man Chad the props for that. You said that earlier, either today or earlier this week in our channel, and I have been laughing hysterically because that is, honest to God, one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Chitty Rittenhouse.
I'll tell you where I got it from.
Know. For those that know, though, now you know.
These are my closing arguments. It's a great show today, Chris. You rocked it. You're on fire, dude.
You
Point
crushed
one.
it.
We got the rant. Chris's corner. That was sweet. That's some good stuff. So I was in the shower earlier this morning, and it just hit me. I'm like, Chitty Rittenhouse. That sounds pretty good. And I say that because I think more people should take longer showers. such a great time to meditate, to think about stuff, plan out your day, revisit your yesterday, right? Maybe it's not a shower.
So glad you said. I'm just so glad you said meditate instead of something else. Oh my God. Is he going to really say that? He's going to say. He's going to. No,
Jesus.
Okay, we're good.
Jesus save us. But find some time where you can just, wherever you like to think, get some thinking time to yourself. That's where good ideas come to you. I can't believe you just said that. This whole show, I know you're going to be hearing this at the end if you listen, but don't listen to it with your kids. It's not that bad.
PG-13.
Yeah, there's nothing that we said that was
PG-13.
that bad throughout the show. It was a good one. Fun time.
I think PG-13, you're allowed one F-bomb, which was courtesy of Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yep. Do you have any closing statements as we wrap up here?
No, I think, just one of the things I'd like to say is that I truly appreciate both you and Matt, our producer, doing this show, making it happen. I think we need to show more love to one another and be very complimentary. Chad, you're always good at that, but I'm telling you, you guys rock it too. You crush it. We come together. We're all across the country. You're in Connecticut. I'm in Michigan. Matt's out in Nebraska. It's just awesome. It's good to be good crew of guys, and couldn't be happier for sure. And that's the season,
Absolutely.
right? Merry Christmas to you guys. I love you.
Merry Christmas, Chris.
Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, right?
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah,
Technically, it is Hanukkah
Hanukkah's
right
over.
now. No, it's
is it still going on?
Yep,
Okay.
I think it's still going on. So technically,
Happy
that is
Hanukkah.
I think this is the
for
last
you
day. I
to
think.
celebrate.
I think there's what was it? What was the company that did that commercial that one year? It was like Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, like Happy Kwanzaa or whatever you Wanza call it or something like that. Do you remember that commercial? Whatever commercial
yesterday
that was.
Was the final day.
Yesterday was
the final
okay.
day of Hanukkah.
Okay.
So screw you guys. We're on to Christmas.
Peace be with you. We lift up your hearts. Right?
Shalom, shalom.
Well, Commander Whalls, another great week. Enjoy the rest of yours, and
Under his eye.
go in grace. Commander.
Blessed be the fruit, Commander Dayton.
Blessed day.